will you remember Jerry West?
You know, Skip, he was always extremely, like I've known him for a while, but he was always extremely nice to me and my family. Just last year, I had dinner with him at Casita, Paul. And my son, you know, I had to get my youngest son, Vance. He knew the logo and he knew something, but he didn't know, you know, he kept thinking, he heard Jerry and he was thinking Jerry Bust because he just was Lakers, and I had to explain to him. And so Jerry West just was always one of those guys that remind me of myself whenever I had a conversation with him.
Really?
Yeah, because everything was intense when you talk about sports, right? Or you talk about his career, and we would have these conversations about just the way teams are constructed and put together, in the way that it burns when you lose. All of those sort of things remind me so much of myself and how I would approach the game, and just couldn't take losing. It was just one of those type of situations. I remember he told me, it was last summer, he goes, now you know he was talking about the Clippers because he had this issue with the Lakers going on at the time, and he goes, now you know we better than y'all, Keyshawn. And he was breaking down the whole Clipper roster and stuff. If we stay healthy, we're better than y'all. And I'm like, nah, we got LeBron, we got AD. And he's like looking at me like, no, you don't understand what I'm saying. And so his conversations just was always like educational. You just knew he taught you a lot. Because I would ask him questions like, why did you decide to go and work with Memphis? Why did you decide to work at Golden State? What is this? What made you go back to the Clippers? And he gave me the whole rundown, the whole Clipper situation. But then as a player, when I was telling Paul, when I watch his videos, he looked like he could play in modern day basketball.
I agree.
Yeah. You know, and when you stand next to him, he was big. I didn't realize how, you know, when you stand next to somebody, how tall he was. He was a large human being. Then you got the logo. That's a whole nother conversation, to think that here's a guy that you actually know, that's the logo, which is essentially the face of the NBA. It's one of those things, Paul, where you just appreciate the time that you've had to spend with somebody like this, of greatness, being in their presence and being able to have conversations with greatness.
Yeah, I had quite a few interactions, moments with Jerry West, man, and it's a sad day for the NBA family, Skip. This is a second iconic figure we've lost in the last couple weeks.
Yep.
Bill Walton, Jerry West, they definitely made their mark on the game. And I just remember my first interaction with Jerry was here in LA. And I remember after the draft, he was at the gym, UCLA, at some point. He said, Paul, I've always been an admirer of your game. I tried to trade for you on draft night. And I didn't even think he knew who I was.
Really?
Yeah, really. And so, like, ever since then, from me, you know, going to the finals, working the games in Golden State when he was there, we've had our little run-ins and talked for a bit. I even got a couple pictures with him. I wish I could have brought him up. But, you know, he's been nothing but nice and genuine. He comes off as real genuine.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of, for me, I mean, at an older age, he was real soft-spoken. And, you know, and the last time I had a chance to see him, we had another interaction at the top 75 ceremony in the back. It was me, Kevin, sitting in the corner in the back before we get announced. Kevin Garnett. Me and Kevin Garnett was sitting. And Jerry comes over there. It was McHale was right there.
The other Kevin.
Kevin McHale, right, the other Kevin. It was both Kevin McHale, because he was talking to Kevin Garnett, and it was me, and then Jerry comes over. And we had a moment there, and he was like, damn, look at all these damn Celtics. Like sitting over here in the corner, because it was Kevin McHale, KG, and myself. And I thought that was kind of funny. But we lose an iconic figure, a guy who's done so much for the game on the court, off the court, who's a major influence. You know, he'll always be remembered. And he's going to live forever. You know, he is the NBA logo. He'll live forever. He'll always be remembered.
So that's very interesting. He tried to trade for you on draft night.
Tried.
I can't remember off the top of my head who the Lakers took.
No, they tried to trade for me on draft night. He told me this. I'll never forget it.
Do you remember which way they went in the draft? Could
they
somebody
didn't have
look it
an
up
early
for us?
pick.
I'm just curious.
I don't know.
What year was that?
This was 98.
98.
I just remember him telling me the story. He tried to trade up for me. I think they were trying to get an earlier pick somehow, and I think this is how he explained it to me, to draft me in 98.
And you went
I went 10th.
10th.
Yeah,
and
I went
you
10th.
talked about you thought you were going to go higher.
I thought I was going to go number 2. I was projected to go number 2. So they were trying to trade up in
as
the
you
draft.
sort of moved down the board.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I remember that story he gave me, and I was just like, wow, damn, what could have been? What could have been? 98. Yep, 100%. True story, he told me that. That was my first interaction with him, and he said this.
Lakers took Sam Jacobson, 26. I don't remember. Where did whatever
They
happened?
were trying to put together a package. I remember him telling me that.
Okay. So I love Jerry West. I loved him as a player and as a guru, a franchise builder, because it's rare that a player of his caliber and quality can then transfer that into being able to pick players, because too many times, as we saw with the greatest Michael Jordan, you're so good at what you do, you can't see it. You can't, because you're never going to pick somebody as good or better than you were. And so it's just hard to see what works on a much lesser level. Why does that guy work? Well, I could do this. Why can't he do? I think Magic had a hard time coaching, because it's just like, well, why can't you do what?
Right.
They just can't, because they're not as good as you are.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's just really, really hard. But Jerry West translated, and he was responsible for Kobe Bean Bryant being the Los Angeles Lakers, because he saw it before anybody really saw it, and had him out for a private workout out here with Michael Cooper trying to guard him, and Michael Cooper turns to Jerry West and says,
Nothing I can do.
I can't guard him. And what was Kobe, 18 at that point?
Yeah.
And Jerry saw that, because Jerry saw a lot of things. And Jerry was instrumental in getting Shaquille O'Neal to the Lakers. And so all your dynastic run with Kobe and Shaq, Jerry was responsible for that. And he didn't coach the team, and he didn't teach them how to play. But he just knew. He saw.
Yeah.
And my only regret about him is this Winning Time series on HBO has been so popular, and so many kids of your son's generation watch Winning Time, the Showtime Lakers, and they see the portrayal of Jerry West by the great Jason Clarke. He's really good. The Australian actor plays him, but he plays him. I don't know if you guys have watched much, but it's so over the top the way he plays Jerry that it's just like he's this crazy lunatic. And he had some of that in him, some of that, because to your point, he took it so hard when they lost. And he was so emotionally volatile and passionate about the Lakers and about winning. But I was around him a lot, and I never saw that stuff. So that's all made for TV stuff.
Too, right?
And it's fictionalized. You're taking the real and you're taking it completely over the top. So the point is, he was revered around the NBA, and I always hated it that he fell apart with the Lakers, because I wanted it to end right, because it should have ended right. He was as pure a shooter as I ever saw, just sweet jump shooter who played as hard with his talent. He was another one of those supremely talented overachievers. But the point was that he meant so much to the Lakers, and then, to your point, he goes to Memphis, and then he goes to Golden State, and then he's right across the hall helping
Well, the great thing you mentioned, the Shaq, Kobe, right? And being able to be a part of that sort of thing, and Magic and whatnot. But even in Golden State, when they wanted to trade Klay Thompson, he stepped in, even though he wasn't the main guy. He said, wait, I can't sign up for this. You can't trade him. He's going to help us win these championships. Then he goes to the Clippers, Lob City. He goes there, and they just completely dismantle Lob City, and he orchestrates Kawhi along with PG coming there, and then he go to the Western Conference Final in 2021 for the first time. So his hands was all over that as well.
Yeah. And if Kawhi could just stay healthier, they could have made a run. I think they would have made a deep run this year with Kawhi healthy. So he definitely will be missed. And it's interesting how much he means to, because you both grew up out here,
Yeah.
And he is an iconic figure, right?
Without
When
a doubt.
you think of the pantheon of icons.
Man, I'm telling you, Skip, every time I'm in his presence, though, I used to be in his presence, I just was just like, look up. You know, just look at him. Like in amaze because not only his size, but it's Jerry West. I'm literally sitting here having dinner with Jerry West. You don't
Yeah.
get that opportunity too many times in your life to be in company of people like that.
Yeah, I
You
feel
know,
the same way you do, Keith, because me, I played basketball my whole life. And there's just certain figures that you just
Certain
come up, that when you actually meet them and you're this close to them, it's just a different feeling. You know, and Jerry was one of those guys. Red Auerbach was one of those guys who, growing up, I'm seeing him smoking the cigars, raising banners, and then next thing I know, I'm right here with him. And I'm seeing Jerry West hit the half-court shot,
He did.
you know, doing all these things with the Lakers organization, which I grew up a Laker fan, and then actually he's right here in front of you. And you're like, you kind of starstruck as a basketball player to an iconic figure. And, you know, I have pictures with him. Like, Jerry, I have to take this picture.
Yeah.
You know, it was just one of those guys for me. And there's only certain guys throughout the course of history to where, you know, I've been around a lot of these guys, but there's just certain ones for me.
Yeah.
I gotta have a picture with you.
Absolutely. There's certain ones that you sit there, you know, the Michaels, the Magics, the Jerry West, where you just like, that's Jerry West.
Yeah, for real.
No matter what, you know.
No matter what.
It's very cool that you guys had that much interaction with that iconic figure.
For sure.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.